Currently, as you can see, 4:13 p.m. Okay, body of evidence already establishing that the pattern of conduct is exactly what's continuously being documented for purposes of prosecution of a government, the state of California that is engaged in state surveillance. And so that pattern of conduct is already established, and that is also beyond a reasonable doubt. What I'm capturing is evidence speaking to what's going to further support the policies that I advocate with regard to what you do with a matter of public corruption that is as extensive, as broad as group stalking, which is demonic activity, which is speaking to, again, deplorable depths of society that are engaging in what is very despicable and very sickening criminal activity together as a matter of what's a secret society, including children, including the government, you know. So this is the point that we're at now. The fact that the son is not going to be present at the same address, like I documented, we can use 9 o'clock in the morning, the video that I captured while I was right here where I'm touching the screen. MGMT's my management office. While I'm sitting inside facing this direction, this is the hillside. This is, again, the same hillside that you see when I'm looking out my living room window, 9 o'clock in the morning. This is the light source that's right over me as I'm looking outside of my window. I step out of my office, which is right here, facing building 1810. This is what I'm facing on video, and you see that light source on this side of my person, which would be the left side of my person. That's the light source, which is not possibly the sun. The analysis is already consistent, and it's already established the sun is not going to be at the same address, which it's still here at Alvarado Gardens while I am inside of my apartment right now. It's outside of my bedroom window. Okay. Which is what I'm capturing in still images. And okay, 9 o'clock to 4, let's count the hours. That is 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7 hours. The sun is not going to be present over one address. That's literally going from the management building. 7 hours later, it's directly over me outside of my bedroom window. And that is established as a matter of evidence, speaking to what is a criminal system. That's the why that the P.O.C. provides. I'm giving you, this is what you saw this morning. This is the video captured this morning. It is, just to be clear, so you can see the video that I'm looking at. This is indeed the video that I captured today. It ended at 9:59 in the morning. I started this video at approximately 9:07. And again, I went through the pattern of conduct as I've already captured the so-called sunrise. The sun is never rising and still going to be present at the same address, nor while it's present at the same address is it maintaining ubiquitous presence over anybody, over their head in the city of Nebraska. Okay. This is the light source that's remaining over the property, not just over the property, it's over my head at the same exact property, which is Alvarado Gardens, as I am here at 9 o'clock capturing video. And I am right now inside of my apartment at building 1806, looking outside of my bedroom window, and the light source is over my head. This is where the entity is stalking in helicopter, as you are already aware, and that's exactly what the entity is doing. And again, like I stated last night, which remains the case, the demon-possessed and wildly corrupt entity that is utilizing a corrupt law enforcement agency. This is a demon-infected police agency that exhibit more and more hostility and aggression in concert with the demons that are the people of the state. Their pacing is reasonably construed, and it is, just so that you know, for purposes of interpreting demonic behavior, it is aggression while they are engaged in criminal conduct of group stalking. All right. That's the movement around in the engineered light. There are a bunch of cockroaches in the spirit. They're monitoring you and you don't even know it. They're doing that. You are aware of that because the unnatural environment is present. You are engaged in criminal activity in the unnatural environment, and you're doing it with real-time knowledge of the fact that your criminal activity of a federal nature on behalf of a corrupt government is being documented for purposes of prosecuting you, and where the federal courts will observe and analyze and witness this evidence, it shall substantiate what is disbanding, what is federal prison, what is demilitarization, what is education requirements, understanding these policies that are simultaneously being supported. You're understanding the why as to what I am subject to, as to what I'm advocating against, that the ordinary target individual is subject to. You have a right to not be subject to that. And this is also it's serving a public good, to be honest, to be plain. The people in this country, the American citizens in this country, I am not only exposing, I'm providing what I find to be resolutions to what's plaguing you wherever you're at. Okay, because the demon possessed are maintaining presence all around you and are engaging in this criminal activity all around you. It's centered on you, and you don't even know it, which is terrorizing when you become aware of it. And even more so, understand the position of the ordinary target individual that is suffering in silence, that's sitting around kidnapped or has even lost their lives. And then while they have lost their lives, they're defamed at their death. You're told that they were suffering mental illness, that they took their life, okay, that they committed some crime, and that's the reason why their life was snuffed out by some corrupt, demon-possessed law enforcement officer whose criminal activity is then disregarded, ignored, okay? Justice is not served in that corrupt courthouse. You don't even know anything about federal group stalking and monitoring. Okay, this is the policies that I am simultaneously speaking to while I'm showing you what is, again, no matter of rocket science. You're going to look at this light source that's outside of my window right now. First, you're going to look at this light activity that has nothing to do with sunlight. These are demons that are stalking in a helicopter at 4:04 p.m. and doing so for a prolonged period, seeking the demon-possessed psychopaths want to incite some sort of reaction from you. You have long lost that battle, and I'm speaking to the defeat of the demon-possessed population and their leader, Satan itself. Satan is a defeated creature, okay, who is not all-knowing, not omnipresent, not even intelligent, okay? Neither are his minions. And his minions work for the LAPD. That entire department is demon-infected, engaged in what is criminal conduct while they're simultaneously communicating hostility, amplifying helicopter activity, while impossible light activity is on my ceiling, having nothing to do with the light source that's still at the same property on the opposite side of the same apartment where you saw them stalking this afternoon at 1 o'clock. There these demons go again, providing an ongoing, they're literally providing the material for demilitarization and for an education requirement. Stalking in plain sight. And so you're going to recall again, they're not protecting the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. They're not protecting the Ontario Fire Department. They're not protecting the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Again, everything that Satan is seeking to engage in. When I'm calling out Satan, I'm referencing the demon possessed, because those are demons stalking in helicopter, and everything that they seek to, everything that they intend to do when they're monitoring you, it's a fail with regard to Erica Lorraine Spencer. It's not working, okay? It's not going to work because Satan's time is up. Satan is entirely defeated. Satan and all of its minions. This is criminal conduct that the entire property of Silverview Townhomes is going to be prosecuted for. Silverview Townhomes and this demon whose license plate I don't even need. This is the people of the state. They're going to federal prison for this conduct. You're talking about substantiating what is an education requirement against corrupt law enforcement agencies who are still monitoring while you're witnessing this impunity, crossing path, a demon-possessed sex offender monitoring an American citizen inside of a private space while engaged in surveillance on the internet, and they're monitoring simultaneously aware of their criminal conduct. That is sick. It's despicable. It's shameful. And this is the conduct of a government. And I want to be clear, everybody that lives here, this is the government. This is not sunlight. That's not sunlight. That's engineered light. While you're looking at what's supposedly sunlight that ricochets off of windows outside. Okay, but at the same time, it's appearing on the inside. No, that's not sunlight. Those are demons that are flying. That's called crossing path. And those demons listen to me speak to what's coming for them, okay? And then they're going to stand in federal court before the world and want to have some sort of sympathetic disposition, as though you're going to feel sorry for them, as though you don't know the impunity that they acted with right now when you saw them engaging in terrorism in plain sight. No one's going to forget that. Neither is the federal judge that's going to prosecute them. Neither is the world when they witness the disbanding of the Los Angeles Police Department. No one's going to forget that. Okay, so I want to be clear. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you saw that same corrupt action. That is group stalking. That's terrorism. That's what group stalking is, where the government's group stalking you. It's terrorism. And at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this light source was still over my apartment building. That's what I captured. Oh, sorry. That was them stalking this morning in the dark, okay? While they were amplifying helicopter activity. Pay attention to how, while they're flying by now and you don't hear any helicopter activity, these are demons that are indeed engaged in 24-hour surveillance, and their demonic methods of amplification is equally engaging and revealing to you what is targeting. Okay, so the entity is maintaining, am I in the... 1 second, so you can see the video, so you can recall together. Let's review it together. And then I'm going to speak to what is, this was the same corrupt act, group stalking. Plain sight and amplification of audible activity heard in the... So when they're flying at this distance, the amplified audible activity of helicopter is heard. This is how I know that they're coming. I'm walking out and they know that I'm coming. This is an act of terrorism. This is a demon-possessed group stalker. This is an officer of the Los Angeles Police Department. This is a state actor. that's engaging in what is terrorism in the United States. And they do so openly in plain sight. And what did you see in this video? You saw, I'm sorry, let me go back to that, because you saw something which is capturing the impossible. First of all, a body of evidence speaking to at no circumstance, at no time of day ever is the sun ever going to be over Alvarado Gardens. In addition, you're looking at the pattern because it's not only over Alvarado Gardens, it's over me at Alvarado Gardens, and it's over me at Alvarado Gardens all day long. And that's to the exclusion that the sun would be over any other location in the country, okay, at all, at any time of day. That's the identification of demons that are stalking in helicopters and tracking your every move, and they are also simultaneously exposing the fact that they are demon possessed. The entity is doing so in a specific environment, as I clearly outlined and articulated, narrated the criminal conduct that's underway that you're witnessing. They're stalking while I'm outside of my front door, the same address, 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. And the light source is directly over my head at my apartment. So I want you to see that. All right, this is directly over my head while I am inside of my apartment. And again, that's at 1 o'clock. I am inside of my apartment and the light source is still right here over my head. It's 4:23 p.m. And you also saw the same exact pattern, stalking, because that's what that is. And in a natural environment, as though the sun would take 3 hours to go over one apartment building, as though the sun would be at any position at the same property at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is what I documented today. This is the light source as I captured at 9 o'clock in the morning, just so you can see the time. Oh, this is 10 o'clock. I have it earlier than that. The entity is maintaining the light source over me as I am capturing video today. And the entity is maintaining this light source. 9 o'clock in the morning. I want to point something out to you. 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is what's up top. And what is also going on is it's 4:24. 9 o'clock in the morning, I was standing outside of my office. So just so that we can be clear again, what you're looking at, big picture, 9 o'clock in the morning, I was standing here outside of my management office. You just saw demon possession, terrorism, and impunity exhibited by a corrupt law enforcement agency and the people of the state, crossing path in the same exact environment, monitoring together, and that targeting is not only shown through that activity, the presence, that's called criminal presence, stalking in plain sight, a very serious federal offense that the government's engaging in on behalf of the entire entity, just willy-nilly, as I like to refer, just openly engaging in terrorism. No one's going to forget that in federal court. Repeatedly driving up and down Alvarado, ongoing impunity documented on an ongoing basis. That's specifically Samuel Rickman, who's going to federal prison. He's crossing path, driving onto the grounds of the property. The same property where you're looking at 9 o'clock in the morning, the light source is over me here. I'm inside of my apartment and it's 4:25 p.m. and you're looking at the light source at the same address right over my head. Okay, the entity is engaging in what is an ongoing obsessive endeavor, engaging in group stalking, and this has nothing to do with sunlight. That has anything to do with the light source that's over my head at the same property, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7 hours from where you saw it over me at the same property at 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? On its face, that's the P.O.C. This is where the entity, as you see here, is engaged in stalking in a helicopter. And just like you saw them flying over in relevant position at a great distance where you didn't hear any helicopter activity, by the way, but yet they're at a great distance and they're targeting me at 2 o'clock in the morning with audible activity. Those are demons. You also know that they're demons because you saw impossible light activity appearing on this wall, the entire shape of this window on this wall. That's impossible light activity. The demons are driving in impossible light activity. You're living in impossible light activity. You're creating light activity while you're moving around in it. That's what the ongoing traffic is about. Those are demons engaging in a sex offense just in open plain sight. They do it with children. Everything that the entity uses to engage in that criminal act, you're going to strip it down of that. And they are literally communicating while demons are crossing path right now. A minor child running by, that's a demon on the loose, crossing path, acting on behalf of a corrupt law enforcement agency. Corrupt law enforcement agencies that like to utilize children to engage in sexually violating an American citizen, yes, you're disbanding them. They like to engage in criminal conduct with minor children, yes, you're disbanding them. They like to engage in criminal conduct while you're enforcing your rights against the entity that is engaging in conduct that is antithetical to what it's literally supposed to stand for. They take an oath, they wear badges. They're supposed to be entrusted with protecting and serving, not protecting their criminal conduct and serving Satan, which is, by the way, a threat to your livelihood. Satan hates people. He hates you. He hates me. He certainly hates the people of God, but he even hates the people of the state who are demon possessed. He hates them too. That's a matter of what is deception, while they are literally drowning in darkness, and their depraved state is the reason why they're engaging in criminal conduct, besides the fact that they're making poor choices in life. But that demon possession is exactly what they will be approached with when they're sitting in cells. Everybody here is going to federal prison. This light activity on the ceiling has nothing to do with the light source. 3 arms, okay? I only have 1. But you're seeing 3, and they're appearing above my head. And then you're also seeing light activity that's appearing down below. Those are demons stalking in a helicopter. And just like you saw after 1 o'clock over the same apartment outside of my front door, outside of my living room, the light source was in the same position. You're looking at what is a pattern, and that pattern of what is criminal stalking, and that's how you're identifying stalking. You're also looking at stalking on its face, because the entity is always present, following me, remaining where I am in helicopters. On its face, it's stalking. It's also even more specific. They're group stalking. They're demons that are group stalking. And that happens to be a police department doing that. And that's in conformity to a well-documented pattern of conduct. Demons are patrolling up and down Alvarado, just like I captured in still images. This is criminal conduct, acting in concert. These are demons that are pacing, using minor children. This is Tiffany Sherez, the whole pack of demons engaging in criminal conduct. Crossing path, ongoing sex offense. Doing so with those that are over and under the age of majority, while demons are stalking in a helicopter on an ongoing basis. This entire population is engaged in what is an ongoing sex offense while I'm inside of the private space. And this entity is also engaging in, while they're pacing up and down Alvarado, workplace terrorism and sexual violence. These same demons that you see crossing path, they are violating what are the federal housing policies, because they're all monitoring me on that communication device in my office. All of this entity is monitoring my every move, everything that I'm composing, monitoring a concert with the LAPD that is acting with simultaneity, real-time knowledge of everything that I'm emailing about, everything that I'm discussing. And the employees of speaker companies are going to be prosecuted for that. The people of the state are going to be prosecuted for those federal housing policies that they're simultaneously violating. While I don't need the license plates of those demons, nobody's getting away with anything. That impunity is going to be on the account of all of those who I have documented. And by the way, the federal government does not have an issue with identifying those. I don't have to go chase them down. You're talking about what the federal government is going to prosecute. I am turning the case over to them. I'm letting them know about, in other words, blowing the whistle on Satan. So this lawlessness, again, to its own demise, this lawlessness in helicopters to their own demise. But I want to make sure that you see that. And I want to make sure that you understand it's at 4 in the afternoon, and the light source that's, the sun that's above an office or an apartment building or a house, a building, a structure, is not creating any light on the ceiling on the interior of that structure. Sunlight is not ricocheting off of objects, off of the window outside, creating the shape of the window outside, and then also piercing through that same object, and then creating light on the inside. That has nothing to do with sunlight. It's in every regard demonic. And while you're looking at traffic, you're looking at demons that are on the run. Okay, but they are engaging in what are psychotic and concerted stalking behaviors, while they are at the same time all at once this entire population. This is the reality of demonic activity, and that's the prosecution for what is terrorism, because the demon-possessed population is keeping one person under surveillance. That's me. That's the target individual. And you know that because the sun's not remaining over one address all day long. And that's exactly what you're seeing while it's over me in video at 9 o'clock in the morning, while it's over me on video after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's what this is inside of my leasing office. It is a ceaseless, systematic, cyclical system of group stalking that is underway with the people of the state. All right, and the state itself. That is in that leasing office. Again, this is where I'm at 9 o'clock. The video ends at approximately 9:57. You're talking about hours later, I'm on the same property. Okay. And that's how you're getting to the criminal conduct of a demon that's engaged in lawlessness in plain sight. Okay. That's also the grounds of federal prison. All right. And the entity that engages in this conduct in plain sight, Lucy Santos, is going to be prosecuted for what you're documenting. The entity acts as a gang. Thinking Engineer Light is on the ground, pay attention. That is indeed a demon. And they're engaging in an act of terrorism in the same way that this is an act of terrorism, because Engineer Light does not ricochet off your car, nor does Engineer Light ricochets off of your car. Sunlight does not ricochet off of your car, nor does sunlight appear on the inside, creating multiple shadows above your head. And then also coming through closed blinds. Even when the blinds are closed, you're still looking at the illuminated light that's appearing above your head. That's a prosecution of an entire government, and the people of the state are in the shoes of that government. This is a sex offense. Remember, I'm inside of the private space. So you have what are 15-year-olds, Tiffany Sherez's 15-year-old daughter. She's going to be prosecuted as a group stalker. She's going to be prosecuted as a violent sex offender. All right. And this is what happens when you want to engage in what is a matter of public corruption. And you're looking at the lawlessness that corrupt law enforcement agency exhibits. They want to fly by in plain sight, threatening the target individual, stalking the targeted individual, targeting the targeted individual in a manner that is intended to communicate a threat while you're rumbling my apartment, while engineer lights appearing above my head, and you're monitoring the fact that I am uploading and taking note of every time you're stalking in a helicopter, so the demons will engage in repeating that. This is literally what the demons of the LAPD repeatedly engage in. They do not ever take a break. That's why I'm capturing video of them targeting with a helicopter activity at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning while light is plastered on the side of my wall. And so you're looking at right now, which is impossible light activity. The light activity is appearing right now above the ceiling. At nightfall, it's appearing on the bedroom wall, on the upper portion. It's all manner of demonic. And that's how you're also witnessing what is the demon possession that the entity wants to hide from you. The demon-possessed population are violent sex offenders. They are lawless criminals. They have no regard whatsoever for your privacy, for your constitutional rights, for your intention to enforce your rights. This is serving for what is very much the policies that I advocate. You're removing them from the medical profession. You're removing them from the vulnerable areas in society, the minor children, and also the senior citizens. You're removing them from positions where they hold the lives of American citizens in their hands, flying airplanes, being in law enforcement, driving public transportation, driving school buses of children, just to name a few, operating taxis. Okay, you have people's lives in your hands, and you can just drive off a bridge if you feel like it, if Satan so leads you. Okay, because you want to engage in this such lawlessness and psychotic, this personality disorder. These are the real life ramifications. That's practically how it turns out. And then you see it on the news in the evening, and nobody has an explanation for it. And I'm letting you know how this works, what it looks like, and the inexplicable suffering that people go through. And this is the cause. Many people have the spirit of darkness on them. And you're talking about a population that's engaged in criminal conduct. This is not preaching. This is criminal conduct, and this is a real life precipitation of that public corruption. And there are ways in which to address it. And it's required because this is no ordinary criminal system. Okay, the government is engaged in it. The government is facilitating it. Okay, so not only are you going to prosecute, not only you're going to disband, not only you're going to remove from existence, and I'm talking about any and every organization or state facilitating venue, which no government, no act of government or body of government is above the law. None of them are, and they will find that out the hard way. You'll be removed, you'll be replaced, we will rebuild, okay, we will start over, period. But the entity is engaging in lawlessness that you're witnessing, and that's a threat. That's a threat. That's an intolerable threat. And while they're engaging in a sex offense, that was a police department engaging in a sex offense. I want you to understand that. And that's going to be individualized by name, down to the name. There is no anonymity with group stalking. This is a false pretense, a false preconceived notion. Okay, they presume that this would be the malice of a demon-possessed entity that is defeated, inferior, okay? Thinking you have a majority just in numbers, that does not make a majority. You are equally inferior serving Satan, okay? And you will never win. Pay attention to that impossible light activity while the demons exhibit hostility. Never is that ever naturally happening, just like you saw yesterday with the flashing of light. There is no question with regard to the demon-possessed who are engaged in criminal monitoring. It's directly relevant to while you're looking at real-time movement. That's the demon possession of the Los Angeles Police Department. And this government, this people are communicating to the world the threat that they are. Yes, you implement an education requirement in order to get into law enforcement because of what is the real-time threat that American citizens are faced with. When you are subject to what is now has changed the landscape. It is not a fallacy that the government is monitoring American citizens. It is not a fallacy that Satan seeks to literally trickle down into the government itself. Okay, so the federal government is not interested, nor is it anyone's responsibility to try to save souls. But what you shall do, because it's necessary, it's legally relevant, it's a matter of public safety, is creating barriers whereby such mentally ill persons who shall be documented with regard to maintaining a list that the world can understand who they are and where they are. Group stalking is going to be maintained by the Department of Justice, published just like any other sex offender, just like any other terrorist would be. Okay, and you just saw that light activity apply. Do not forget who you saw group stalking in a helicopter, because that's directly applicable to them. The ongoing admission of demon possession, the ongoing admission, yes, I'm a sex offender. Yes, I'm a psychopath. Yes, I'm a stalker. That's what that light activity is communicating to the ordinary target individual. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. I am holding the phone and you're looking at it in real time. And that is no distraction from who you see group stalking. The people of the state driving up and down the street, the people that say you see driving up and onto the property, coming on the grounds and delivering a package, and you are under no circumstances separating that impossible light activity because it's directly related to what they're doing and the condition that they hold while they're doing it. And it's an act of terrorism while you engage in state surveillance. Terrorism in the United States, in the state of California. While you just saw that engineer light move all around. So I want you to make sure that you rewind that. We're at 24 minutes and 48 seconds. So it's near the tail end of the video. And I'll even go ahead and make a snippet of that video and hone in on that light activity like I like to do, because you need to recognize demonic activity and those that are in that environment, just like this third party crossing path. And this entire property is going to be prosecuted for what is unmistakable evidence of group stalking. The entire property is going to federal prison. Every single last one. It's 59 units here filled with terrorists and sex offenders, and they live with minor children. They're going to, every threat that they pose to the public and to those minor children is going to be neutralized while they engage into their own demise. And this is what I mean. You're going to deal with the corrupt law enforcement agencies accordingly as well. And then you're going to create policies in order to guard against this public corruption. All right, in order to rebuild and replenish and cleanse that population. It's necessary. You can't just prosecute them and send them away, which is a necessary aspect of justice. It's necessary. It is needful. You are also talking about necessary policies in order to implement what is restoration. All right. It is currently 4:38 p.m. Make sure that you go ahead and look at that light activity. I'm going to make a separate video that's just going to hone in on that light activity that you just saw, the act of the demonic. It is as demonic as this light activity, this light source that's still over me, as remember at the property that I'm at. The video captured at 9 o'clock in the morning. I am standing here at the management office. I am right now inside of building 1806, and you are right now looking at that duration of time, speaking to what is, again, unmistakable evidence of demon possession of the entity that's flying by in a helicopter, which is group stalking. That's exactly what they were doing while this same light source was over my apartment. Demons, group stalking. Demons driving up and down Alvarado under that which is not the light source, in that which is not even sunlight, because this is what they're driving in on the street. That light activity you see moving in real time, there is nothing that's ever going to create that light activity. Sunlight is not ricocheting off of objects, bouncing on across buildings into the depths of parking lots, creating your shadow. That's called engineer light. It's demonic. It's called stalking with light. And by the way, it exists independent of this light source. It has nothing to do with that light source, which is not the sun either. Okay, the sun is not going to be at one address all day long. So you look up in the sky and you see the light source that's over me here inside of building 1806, where it's been since 9 o'clock in the morning. That's not the sun. It's not the same object that I'm looking at. Okay, this is speaking to what's going on outside of the state of California and the demon-possessed population. This is terrorism that's underway, secretly supposedly exists in secret. It's not a secret anymore. And it is exposing the threat that the entity, this demon-possessed entity, this matter of public corruption that's existing in your state, in this country, in the United States is where I'm at. It's a violation of your constitutional and human rights, the public safety concern that exists. All right. So I want to be clear. The entity demons just one after another, crossing path, while they're literally watching my camera go up here. These demons are crossing path rampantly. It's an ongoing sex offense. All right. And that same sexual violence, that's going to be translated in federal court. And Lucy Santos is going to be prosecuted for that. Okay. I know I use Lucy Santos's name a lot, but I want to be clear. She's engaged in group stalking a lot. Silverview Townhomes is monitoring in concert and on behalf of Lucy Santos, who lives at a crime scene. Okay, but I can exchange that name with Iris Carnero, a sex offender who you've seen in action. Okay, this sunlight is never going to ricochet off of your car. You can look at the ongoing sex offense while they're crossing paths repeatedly, demons driving an engineer light. And by the way, in the specific environment under the light source, there's no ignorant presence. There's no ignorant engagement in the elements of monitoring. These demons are engaging in sexual violence with impunity. And Rita Vega, Iris Carnero, Lucy Santos, David Dupree, you fill in the blank, Rita Vega's sons, every single last one, all third-party group stalkers that live at the property are going to federal prison. The lawlessness and that sexual violence that's exhibited not only through the environment, but through the criminal conduct that I'm capturing on an ongoing basis, helicopter, the people of the state, all of them, they're going to be individualized at their prosecution. Sorry, the camera keeps turning on. It's going to be accounted to they are the same entity. They're one. This demon thinks they're getting away because I don't read their license plate. They're the same entity. Okay, that's the ability to exact justice. While that's also the threat of group stalking. But like I said, not only is it to their own demise, because the people of the state are going to suffer justice, and that's necessary. In addition to that, no one's getting away with anything, and the federal government has many resources, and the entity is assuming that who you are is not already known. Okay, Satan is entirely defeated. So I just want to reiterate that. Crossing path. These are demons that are pacing one after another. Okay, one after another. All 35 units here, they're going to find themselves federally prosecuted, same sex offenders, same impunity, same ongoing criminal facilitation, including the entity flying in circles over that apartment complex, which is in relevant position to me. The entity is engaging in that same pattern with that same lawlessness. Engineer light covers that entire property, covers that apartment building. Engineer light moving across that apartment building while a demon is driving out, the same impossible light activity, okay? Those are sex offenders living right next door. That is the crime scene. Understand that. It is currently 4:42 p.m. This is an entity, hold on, because this is a screen recording, so I think it gets dark on you too. This demon is getting out of their vehicle, walking out. This is a demon that's engaging in hostility, so I want to be clear. Make sure you understand what you're looking at. The objective of the demons are to move around. This is a psychopath that wants to do this. A demon does its best to try to look normal, so they act as a group, which is what demons do. They engage in what is ongoing, crossing a path. This demon stops their vehicle, which is light activity, which is created by their light, by the vehicle. They get out, walk back and forth. This is a demon that's pacing, getting in their vehicle and continuing traffic. So I just want to make sure everything that you're looking at is criminal and it's ongoing real-time knowledge. Okay, and this is again Dominic Choi and the LAPD speaking to the fact that they are ready to cease existence. They're ready. That's what they want, and that's exactly what they're going to get. Not because they want it, but that's because what state terrorism is going to be a result of. Okay, and they're doing so in concert with the demons that are pacing on and off this property. The entire property, all 35 units, are filled with third-party group stalkers and they're documented terrorists while the entity is flying in relevant position to them, while they are covered in engineer light and the entity is engaging in terrorism, stalking in a helicopter, in an environment where the sun is never going to be present over me at one property from 9 o'clock in the morning, and then still present as you're looking at it right here over my head at the same property, which is at 4:44. Which is an excellent time, by the way. This is the entity that's stalking in a helicopter. This is Silverview Townhomes that's engaged in stalking in your face. You're not checking your mail, you're group stalking. And you do so with impunity in concert with that government. All right, that is telling on you while they're stalking in helicopters. And that is, by the way, the expiration date of Satan's system of federal group stalking and monitoring. That's the expiration date. Okay, that's exactly what they're doing to themselves. All right, it is currently 4:44 p.m. This is P.O.C.